Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jack Canfield. Today with me is Jason Elias, who is the author of 7 Graces of Ageless Aging, How to Die Young as Late in Life as Possible. Jason's a psychologist and a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine for well over 40 years, and he has helped many thousands of people over the years and aims to continue helping people as well as sharing his wisdom till the day he dies. And as he likes to quote, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you, Jack. It's an honor to be with you. I've been reading you for probably close to 30 or 40 years. I don't know how long it is, but it's a long time. And you've inspired my life, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, I've been reading you for a couple of weeks, and you've inspired me as well. So we're even now. Anyway, you've led an amazing life, and you've helped countless people along the way. And I'd like to start by asking you how you got started doing what you do, and what would you say your mission in life is?
My mission in life is to spread passion and joy for living. And I realize I do that. I've done it for over 40 years, one-on-one. The acupuncture, the herbs are vehicles, but I realized that and I did this through the writing, that the main source of healing came from seeing the person I was with as they could be and letting them see that I saw that. And it was manifest through teaching stories. So I'd very often use what I was doing, whether it was the body work, the acupuncture, as a means of bringing it in, letting them know.
Well, let's talk about your book on ageless aging for a minute. What inspired you to write this book?
In my practice, I had many, many clients, many in their 80s, 90s, or even 100. And most of them were vibrant, funny, joking all the time, many on no medications. And as I was entering my elder years, I wanted to know what their secret was. And I said, would you be interested in being interviewed? And they said, we'd love it, because, for them to have the permission to share their stories. And I was so inspired that the book built up around these 12, what I call pathfinders, ordinary people and extraordinary people. And out of working with them and the interviews, we came with up to 7 themes, which I've called the 7 Graces of Ageless Aging.
Can you share one of those themes with us?
Yeah, the first one is rewriting the script, which basically is the power of the mind. We tell ourselves stories from when we're very young about what aging is. We looked at our grandfather, we looked at people. They might have been 30, but they were old. And when I get old, I'm going to forget. And when I get old, I'm going to be retired, which means I'll be useless. And we have all of these tapes. And even if we know better, they're still unconsciously, like a computer, running our lives. So I really need first to communicate that we can rewrite those scripts. And rewriting the script is catching yourself, putting, as you recommend, notes on the refrigerator, on the mirror in the bathroom, and saying, I'm getting younger, I'm getting more joyous, I'm able to finally express my passion and not worried about what I'm wearing or what other people think. So rewriting the script was very important. And, I felt that was the first thing, because the mind is so powerful. What we think, we become. And
oh, that's really fascinating. Now I'm tempted to ask you to share at least one more of the themes.
I would love to. I'd like to go to the third. The second grace is finding your tribe. Mm-hmm. And it's often not the tribe we were born into. You're lucky if it is, if people in your birth tribe supported you and nourished you and gave you voice, as well as the comfort of family and tradition. That's wonderful. But very often there are conditions. So if you're part of that tribe, you need to fulfill their obligations. And sometimes that becomes untenable. So we need to find our tribes. We need to find people who think like we do, who validate our existence. But the third grace is mindfulness. And people say, well, you just said the mind can create your reality. Yes, but that's mind in a different way. So I think of mindfulness as more meditation or presence. So in a way, mindfulness means mindlessness. It means no mind, the ability to be in your body, in the moment, available to all the cues that you're seeing, you're hearing, you're feeling. And the first grace is using your mind consciously to direct what you want in your life. So those are 3 of the 7.
Very good. Well, I don't want you to share them all. I want the reader to be curious enough to get your book, because I think it's a really good book. I wonder if you could take a second and talk about, you mentioned you interviewed these people. Could you talk about one of the people you interviewed and how they inspired you?
Yeah, one of my clients, her name was Carolee Schneemann. She just passed away. So this book isn't about living forever. It's about living consciously, joyfully through life into the moment you died. She came to me 25 years ago with breast cancer, which she didn't tell anyone. She was a pretty world-renowned artist, but was into performance art and painting. And it was only at the end of her life that she became recognized. She had a huge show at MoMA and in Zurich, and she won the Most Distinguished Artist Award at the Venice Biennale last year or the year before. But she lived that life. The picture of her that's associated with her story was taken 2 weeks before she left her body. She was vibrant. She was at the local museum doing a talk. And for 25 years, we worked on her breast cancer, not impeding her life, but she did it her way. She starts the chapter on rewriting the script because it was her script. She knew what she needed to express. She never let others or others' expectations cut that off. And she was an inspiration to so many. So she was certainly an inspiration to me. And, you know, she's very much in my heart. All of these Pathfinders are. So it's like I'm sharing the heart.
That's great. I recently met a man who was 93. He looked like he was 70. He was upright. He had a perfect posture. He had energy. His face had very few wrinkles. And I thought, okay, that's what 93 can look like. I was very excited by that. So just those moments where we see people who have done what you're talking about, and then we have that sense, hey, it's possible for them, it's possible for me. So why do you think this topic is so relevant now? And how do you hope your book will change readers when they read it?
I just got a phone call last night from a client friend who loved my book and gave it to some people. And she just got a call last night from this 85-year-old woman who raved. She said, I can't believe it. This book changed my life. I'm 85. I was feeling old. I realize now that I can change things. I'm going to live to 110. I'm going to see my grandkids get older. And I just bought a bunch of copies from Amazon and I'm giving them to all my friends. And you know this, I don't. You know, I've always been the practitioner. I've been in the closet. And now I feel that some of what I have to say can change lives. It doesn't have to be one-on-one. And that's what I want to do. It's really appropriate. My son read the book and he's 28 and he said, this is so relevant to me. I love this. And I realized that confining this to just elderhood is not right. I mean, it can touch younger people, but COVID, I think, connected people to their mortality. Death was never in the scene, but now so many people realize that life is fragile and how can I squeeze the juice out of every moment? And
I like that phrase. And that's, as you said, that's appropriate for a 28-year-old as well as someone who's 88 years old. Now, you've written another book too. Talk about that for a minute. Thanks.
I call it Kissing Joy as It Flies. And it's from a Blake poem, which says, he who binds to himself a joy does the winged life destroy. But he who kisses joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. And that so moved me. It's like it's the moments. And I wanted to write a book for my son about my healing journey. I went around the world, studied with different healing masters in different countries and different modalities, worked at Esalen. We had a lot of connections in common, but my life was always as a seeker. And I wanted my son to get the threads of this life. But what I realized I was writing is that each chapter had pearls of wisdom from my teachers. And I felt that the book needed to get out to a bigger public. And I'm trying to move on that now because as a relatively unknown international author, although I've written 6 books, it's hard to get people to read a memoir of someone they haven't heard of. But I do feel the memoir is important. And I begin every book I've written with a quote, which is, "All wisdom is plagiarism, only stupidity is original." And I love that. So if I think I'm sharing my wisdom, I get caught up. And you've helped me to realize that what we're sharing isn't ours. It's the wisdom of the elders. It's the wisdom that's passed down from the ages. And we give it a different voice. But I feel finally, I really am ready to express that. And I thank you also for helping me with that.
Well, I'm reminded of a quote from Richard Bach, who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. He said, there's time to be a seeker, and then there's time to be a finder. And once you've found, share what you've found with others. And you have done that. And so I really appreciate it. I loved reading your memoir. I thought it was really great. And your other book's fabulous as well, very relevant to me and my age. So I'm excited that you've written these books. And as you said, people don't often read memoirs of people that aren't famous, but I think because of your new book, you will be famous and there'll be more and more people wanting to read your memoir. But there's a lot of wisdom in there. As you said, you found things that are valuable for other people to know. And as my mentor, W. Clement Stone, once said, the 2 secrets to success are OPM and OPE. And OPE was other people's experience. In other words, we don't have to go to war to know that war is a bad thing. We can hear someone else talk about it. And you've shared a lot of really brilliant insights that anyone can apply to their life. So thank you for writing your books. How can people get your books? Where do they go?
The main sources are the usual: Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I'm trying to get the bookstores. It just got reviewed by Kirkus very positively. And you can go to my website, which is 5-Element Healing, 5 spelled out, .net. And it's available on the website if people want signed editions. And we're real excited. And I'm very excited about rebirthing this part of my life.
Well, thanks for being with us here today, Jason. I really appreciate it.
No, this was great. Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you at home for joining us today. Make sure you join us next week. And until then, I want you to stay safe, stay healthy so that you too can die young as late as possible.